Adam, I'm going to direct a lot of questions towards you on this one. And if you feel uncomfortable by any of them, please let me know, because I am very ignorant to this kind of lifestyle. And so stop me if I'm being offensive when I ask you, because you like, this is your lifestyle. This movie is kind of based on your nightlife.
Well, first, let's talk about the premise of the movie. So the premise of this movie, Cruising, is that there's a gay serial killer in New York City in 1980 at the height of the pre-AIDS. This is the glory days of being gay. This is like, we're talking bathhouses, we're talking S&M nightclubs, we're talking primo real estate in the meatpacking district of New York City. Just one club after the other.
Before AIDS?
All before AIDS. This is like right before. This is the cusp.
This is what started AIDS.
How would you like to disappear?
Disappear?
Go undercover.
You know this man?
Who's here? I'm here. You're here.
These victims are all the same physical type.
What about him, Skip?
Late 20s, 140, 150 pounds. Dark hair, dark eyes.
Have you ever seen him before?
I want to send you out there to see if you can attract this guy.
How, where?
A New York City detective in search of a killer is about to disappear into the night.
Is it dangerous?
I can't talk about it.
How do you know you're going to end up the same person when it's over?
An odyssey to the edge of city life.
Bartenders are starting to give me some information. There's this name keeps popping up all the time. There he is. The one with the hat.
Is that the one that followed you?
Yeah.
Why didn't you go with him?
I don't know. I think you should check him.
If you want to play, I'll play with you.
He's the wrong guy.
Prints don't match.
What he sees
Who's here?
what he feels,
I don't think I can do the job, Captain. I don't think I can handle it.
I'm here.
There's just stuff going down. I don't think I can deal with it.
You're here.
what he experiences. What he discovers will change his life forever. Al Pacino.
Who's here? I'm here. You're here.
Cruising.
Well, I was thinking that this was a metaphor for AIDS.
Yeah, you're wrong, because this is all happening before that virus existed in America.
Wow.
But,
But it was prescient.
it's prescient. So they need an undercover cop to figure this out. So Al Pacino apparently looks like the victims, even though he's like 40 years old.
No, he was getting head. He's gay.
Well,
He was the one getting head at the beginning.
No, he's not in the beginning of the movie. That's another actor.
Okay.
There was two different actors in the beginning of the movie. So Al Pacino goes undercover. Paul Sorvino is the captain or whatever who's giving him orders, and Al Pacino
Only
just has
he knows that he's going undercover. Only Paul Sorvino.
only Paul Sorvino, but there's a lot of other cops who seem to know. Let's be honest. So
Yeah, there's a bar full of them.
Al Pacino then goes undercover. He has a girlfriend played by Karen Allen, the mom from The Sandlot.
Ooh, she's
And-
banging.
You look good.
You know,
looking.
she's Raiders of the Lost Ark. So she doesn't really know what's going on.
Superman.
And then one by one, there's victims, yada, yada, yada. It's your
Brutal victims.
standard serial killer, 80s, Brian De Palma-ish.
Yeah, your standard
Giallo.
just hog tying somebody and stabbing him up the butt a bunch of times. Yeah, that's
Giallo
just your
influence.
standard.
you're starting to see this in this time in America. You're starting to actually see the Dario Argento influence on Brian De Palma and William Friedkin, I'd say, more than anyone, and also slasher movies in general.
Mhm.
So this is the height of the slasher boom, but this is a weird movie because it is a studio movie, has a big actor in it, huge movie star, Al Pacino.
Yeah, it's like a mainstream movie that's like graphic, doesn't shy away from the good stuff.
And it's like we're about to enter the 80s. So movies like this are about to go out of favor. It's way too extreme, way too shocking. The director's William Friedkin. He made French Connection, Exorcist. So he has a lot of power and he uses it. He really pushes everything to the limit with this movie. So I've seen it before. I've seen it a bunch. When I told Adam last week we were doing it, he gave me the thumbs up and nodded, and his lips started quivering and he was really excited. He was like, "Oh yeah, good choice. Good choice."
And when his hand came into screen with the thumbs up, it was just already covered in lube.
Yeah, Adam's
Just
been begging
dripping lube.
He's been begging to watch this movie ever since the podcast started. He's always been like, "When are we doing Cruising? When are we doing Cruising? We got to do Cruising." And he thinks
it's a great film.
He thinks it's like a guaranteed, home run for him. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what jokes.
He's just proud. He's proud of his lifestyle. So
he just wants to watch Cruising really bad.
I just want to watch it with, not alone for once.
Well, did you watch it with your significant other?
No, I made her go in the other room.
Why? Has she not seen it? It would have been too much.
She tried to open the door and I yelled to get out.
You're just full body covered in lube.
Yeah.
I saw this.
I'm gonna make that joke 1,000.
He's in a leather daddy outfit.
So buckle in, buddies.
Yeah, I've pulled out a leather hat and jacket. So.
Just within the 30 seconds that she leaves the room to go into her bedroom,
honestly,
shuts the door and goes, "Oh, babe, forgot my coffee," and you're already fully gimped.
Yes, in a zipper mask.
I watched this at New Beverly with a whole audience of gay men. So
yeah,
that was exciting.
What'd they think?
At first they thought it was gonna be funny and campy. Like there's a lot of jokes, like people are laughing, and then like very quickly,
real, dude. It gets real.
When you see those two cops, abusing those men, and like
it's way too real.
The mood shift. You felt a mood shift for real?
Well, the truth is the movie works as a thriller and a mystery, so they just got sucked into its rhythm, and whatever jokey, fun ideas they had about the movie like quickly evaporated because the movie
kind of brutal.
It's
brutal. It's about gruesome murders.
Yeah, the kill scenes are pretty intense. But I like that first cop scene is so good because it ends up being a scene that is a cruising scene.
Explain the scene to the audience.
It's cops are cops are like harassing these two drag guys in kind of leather drag.
They were ladies of the night. They were ladies of the night.
Okay, so we got two cops played by Joe Spinell and Mike Starr. Joe Spinell's Star Maniac. He has a horrifying face.
He does. What the fuck was that?
When he was a limo driver, he was driving around some big time director. I forget who. Maybe it was Sam Fuller. Maybe it was some guy. It was Sam Peckinpah or someone. And they just said like, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to be an actor." He's like, "You look like a killer. Like you should play a killer in a movie or something." He's in The Godfather. He's in a bunch of random ass 70s shit. It's him. And then it's Mike Starr from Goodfellas, the guy who was the security, worked in the security room and is in Dumb and Dumber. Blank Check.
Yep.
Right.
Who also kind of got he's got a scarred up face too.
He's on Blank Check. Karen Duffy is. She's in Dumb and Dumber.
Damn.
Miguel Ferrer is in Blank Check. My apologies to the audience.
Idiot.
Sorry, audience. William's a fucking idiot. Doesn't know his blank checks.
Sorry. We're supposed to be like an expert movie podcast.
He's supposed to be the movie guy.
Yeah.
Look, he's even got the pipe to prove it. He's smoking an old Sherlock Holmes pipe right now.
So these two cops are complaining.
It begins
disgusted.
Like it's like they're
disgusted.
It's like a general, like kind of generic cops harassing.
Here we go.
The gay.
I'm sorry for all the conservative listeners out there who are on the right of politics. You have to listen to Adam's anti-police.
They're probably feeling a little blue right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Like we said, we want to blow the blue. You know, that's
blow
our
the blue, baby. Blow the blue.
That's our motto. That I cut.
And
out of
honestly,
another
in
episode.
this scene, I think the streetwalkers were wrong. They should willingly want to give head the cops.
yeah, to say
Blow the
thank
blue.
you for protecting our
appreciate your
communities.
service.
Yeah.
I think the thing Adam's he's struggling to say, because I'm interrupting him, is that the
No,
cops
I'm
in
not
this movie are cool. Okay. And the reason why they're cool is because you see all types of cops in this movie. You see abusive cops, you see corrupt cops, you see lazy cops, you see Ed O'Neill as a cop. You got Paul Sorvino as a really shitty lieutenant who's kind of trying, but kind of isn't. He's very
1 foot
tired.
in, 1 foot out. Yeah.
Well, he's
Then you
worn
got-
out from the job.
You got Pacino as the lead under
This
he's-
little tiny guy.
He's a undercover.
He's the perfect cop for this job.
He does seem like a power bottom.
And what I like about all these different types of cops is that it gives the film a sense of realism. It shows the tension between the gay community and the police right at the beginning, which is one of the reasons why this case is so hard to crack. These guys don't want to talk to the cops. They don't want to. And if they do talk to the cops don't treat them right. They don't believe them. So
they don't take it. They don't care. You know,
there's too much going on.
They don't care.
Well,
What city is it?
Paul Sorvino cares about the case because he's getting pressure from upstairs. But when one of those transgender prostitutes from the beginning,
they were just like cross-dressing,
says like, hey, these two cops are bad news. They're harassing me in the 6th precinct. He's just like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to deal with that, because there's still this like corrupt New York late 70s thing going on.
Sure. But that's so that opening scene is so good, I think, because it like begins with that thing of like, oh, the cops are harassing and stuff. We've seen that before. And then it's like, no, they want to.
Well, they're like raping these people.
Yeah. At first you think they're going to like beat the shit out of the guys, and then you see them get blown by them.
They sexually assault them or whatever. But
then also
it becomes a cruising scene. It becomes a scene where they're cruising, the cops in a cruiser.
Exactly.
On their
And that's
patrol.
the double meaning of the title.
If you want to see a movie about cruising, watch Cruising. You know, like it's got scenes where there's cruising.
I'll tell you, I was absolutely shocked and a little disappointed that this was not. I thought it was going to be all about like a cruise, like a big ship.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a gay murder on a big ship.
No, that's Boat Trip. That's the Horatio Sands Cuba Gooding Jr. movie, Boat Trip.
This one was good though.
Yeah.
Throat Trip.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
What about that?
So they call Al Pacino in, who Al Pacino just seems like lightheaded through this whole movie.
So Al Pacino is he's
just like looking around.
You were about to say on the text message, Ryan, you thought he was a bad actor in this movie.
He is a bad actor.
No, give your opinion, because
get it, girl.
He might not be He might not be a bad actor, but he just became one of those, like Robert De Niro. He just became himself. He's Al Pacino.
Just tell us your reaction to the character's performance in this movie.
He didn't fucking talk half of it. He just seemed confused half of the time. And then when he was supposed to he's supposed to be confused because he's like feeling these confused homoerotic feelings. But he looked.
No. Ryan's correct. Go on. Ryan.
He looked confused, like not that way. He looked like he didn't know what the people were saying to him.
Okay, Adam,
confused.
Adam, give your take.
Confused.
Give your take.
Well, I was pretty shocked to hear that he was maybe confused about his homoerotic feelings.
What?
Nah,
homoerotic feelings, homosexual feelings. Go on,
homosexual.
Adam.
They're erotic though.
He's kind of funny in this movie. You know, Al Pacino can be a pretty funny actor sometimes.
I don't
Tell
think
some of the funny parts.
Like, remember when he's at the end when he's like he's stalking the guy who he thinks is the killer, and the guy looks out the window and Al Pacino
just waving at him. But that's a perfect example of why I don't think that's good. Maybe it's poor direction, because that was like silly to me.
Oh my
And
God.
not in like a good way.
No,
He's
sure.
when he's taunting the suspect and he's following him on the bus, he's reading the newspaper, he's looking at him through the window, he's taunting him.
But a lot of the
that
movie,
part's cool.
Yeah. A lot of the movie though is like he's really because obviously he gets like Paul Sorvino's like, hey, you're gonna do this. It's in the gay like leather. It's not just a gay community. It's like the leather scene or whatever. It's like intense shit. And he's like, what? The gay? This is crazy. I'm not gay. And like, you know, he's kind of like all like, what? And but he goes anybody like tiptoes into it. He like moves into a small apartment in a what is it called? The Beanpacking district.
He lives in Chelsea though.
And he like
or Greenwich Village or something. I can't or even the Lower East Side. I don't know. They always say the village, and it's like there's two villages there. East
like
Village,
he makes friends with his
Village.
neighbor, and he's like he goes out, he has he like tries to go to a bar and cruise, but it's like really intense, and he like people are like, are you a fucking cop or something like that? Because you're not just like immediately sucking a guy's nipple.
Okay, but what about his
fish out of
performance?
water?
Adam?
Did you say guy's nipple?
What about Pacino's performance?
I mean,
his choices as an actor. What do you think about that?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was good. I don't know.
It didn't stand out.
What do you think?
So he's kind of like a blank slate at the beginning, right? He's kind of like playing an everyman, like, yeah, you know, I'm a cop, but you don't really know much of his backstory. He hints that he has like weird shit with his father, or that he tells his wife, like, you don't really know me.
I'm sorry, Adam's taking his shirt off right now.
Don't do it. It's because the shed.
I
is
knew
hot.
it was gonna happen. No, it's because of the topic.
It's not because of the topic. It's because of the shed.
Is it because of the talk?
His nipples are rock hard right now too.
Let me give you a little backstory, because I read Friedkin's autobiography about what he said about Al Pacino making this movie. So originally, Friedkin wanted Richard Gere, who was a little more unknown, had not won, and
he's prettier too.
Or Pacino had been nominated for a bunch of Oscars. He's a huge movie star. The studio says, do Pacino. So Pacino's 39. He's kind of too old for this role. A younger cop would make more sense because all the victims are fairly young, but whatever. Pacino's in it. Friedkin said the first day Pacino just showed up like 3 hours late, was completely unprepared, didn't know his lines. In fact, he said he was the least prepared actor he's ever worked with in his life.
It shows in this one.
Maybe he was like afraid of. It's so bold.
No.
What do you think?
No, he was just in. He just didn't give a shit at that time. He was probably gacked out or something.
I think he had a big head. I think he had a lot of other stuff going on. He was really famous. I mean, look.
You don't think he was?
I'm just telling you, he is late all the time on set, and he is driving William Friedkin crazy, and William Friedkin is like yelling at him on set. So this is what's happening, okay? But Friedkin also didn't really want him in the movie. The other thing is these two guys work completely differently. They never worked again. Pacino said...
Together? They never worked together again?
They never worked together again. So Friedkin, okay, when Friedkin makes a movie, he likes to shoot one take. Sometimes it's the rehearsal of the take.
Yeah.
So like, but the other thing is, if he doesn't get what he wants, he will push a person to do it. So like French Connection, he had a notoriously difficult relationship with Gene Hackman. He'd have to yell at him. He hated Gene Hackman. He didn't like him in the movie, and he would push him. Eventually it works. Hackman gets an Oscar. Friedkin is like ready to go all the time. He's just like, let's fucking shoot this thing and get in the can. I don't care. I want it fast, loose, and spontaneous.
That's cool.
And then Pacino shows up late.
Not for the lighting crew.
Pacino says he likes 8 or 9 takes just to get
in the zone.
In the zone for the
8
take.
or 9.
Yes, and then kind of like that. Then you start getting the good stuff. But by then, all the other people Friedkin said would be like tired, because these are like New York theater actors, like the neighbor guy with the red hair who he talks to and has dinner with. He says like, or like coffee. He said that guy would be ready like right away. And he would just kind of get worse as there was more takes. So,
which is common, I believe, people kind of start getting robotic, and I feel like there's a perfect
depends on the
3
actor.
take
I'm just saying
situation.
this is
Depends
what
on the
happened,
actor, yeah.
and it gives the
3.
movie a really
And the
weird
script.
vibe. This gives the movie a super weird vibe. So
That may be what I was seeing. Because it seemed like Al Pacino was just there sometimes. Like the scene where they go to the diner with his neighbor, he's just walking, and the neighbor it's like everyone has monologues around Pacino, and he just kind of stands there and walks, and he doesn't.
But he's like the witness to this new world.
Yeah, no, I get the script, but it's just like it works. But
he's trying to get information. He's trying to get information. Look, I mean,
yeah, it's like a detective-y thing.
I think it's just a weird mix of two people. This is you can't judge Pacino's acting by this movie. This is not the movie I would say.
Well, I've also was watching like I've seen like 3 other Pacino movies. I forget. We were just watching them at work, and I noticed I was like, I don't like. I mean, Scarface came on TV when we were at some bar, and I was watching it, and I was like, this is not a good movie, or it's like cheesy.
It's incredible. That's one of his best performances.
Scarface.
Yes.
Yeah, but the movie itself
Absolutely.
it ain't no Goodfellas. Or
What
it ain't
scene?
no like.
If it's not supposed to be Goodfellas, it's totally
No, I
different.
know.
The best scene
I liked
in
it, but I was like,
Scarface- hold on. Pacino's best scene in Scarface is when he's in the jacuzzi and he's watching TV about pelicans and he's complaining.
Pelican, fly.
Elvira.
No, it's a flamingos. He's watching flamingos. He's watching pelicans.
Yes. So that's
Very funny.
Pacino's funniest scene in that movie. I mean, look, Ryan, he's a complicated actor. He's done so many movies. Some are better than others.
You're right about Scarface. That was a better performance because he played a character.
He
Why are you
underplays
shitting on Al Pacino so much?
in the
I could
70s.
fight his ass, dude.
So
you want to take him right now?
I'll take him in his prime. He clearly has hip issues in this movie. And
this is a weird.
You watch him
movie.
walk, his hips are pot. You get like I was watching him walk, and I'm like, that guy's gonna have to get 2 hip surgeries later on in life.
He's kind of stocky, right? He's kind of like
He's tiny,
short and like,
but yeah, he like bow-legged is what it is. He's not a tough guy. Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't
understand
look
why
good. There's a scene where he wears jeans and he like goes to get coffee running down the street with like his gay neighbor, and he just doesn't look comfortable like a guy who just like puts on blue jeans and like goes to the fucking store.
I don't get it.
But he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be uncomfortable.
I know.
So he's really bad at his job.
But when was the last time you ever saw Al Pacino in blue jeans? Like he does bring a lot of baggage to his performances, I'd say.
It's like that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer gets jeans that are too tight. He walks like Frankenstein.
Dude, you gotta
man,
you gotta quit referencing fucking Seinfeld every.
Right now. Sorry.
Speaking of Seinfeld,
what is happening?
He's at a sweat
I need
lodge.
to go to the
He's
bathroom.
sweating.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I'm telling you, dude.
It just hit me really.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's
like a 5-year-old holding his
he's
crotch.
like a baby.
Go to the
seriously a
bathroom.
I got a tummy ache right now.
Okay, are you going to go to the bathroom or are you going to just hold the shit for an hour?
Oh my God, he's getting
don't
up.
talk
He's
about it.
squatting in
Just don't
the
get on
he's
to it.
squatting in the corner. He's currently squatting in the corner of his shed, shitting in a bag.
I don't want to miss
If
stuff.
I had to take a dump, I would just say like, I got to take a dump right now. You guys talk, and I would just leave.
All right,
Like,
okay.
I
Took his
wouldn't-
shirt off.
Okay,
I
okay.
wouldn't-
No, the shirt
like-
wasn't a part of it.
I'm not like a
The shirt is me just trying to like relieve the pressure.
go to the bathroom and get it over with.
All right. Thanks.
Jesus Christ.
He's going to get fisted. Oh my God.
He's dying. His butthole's opening up. So what were we talking about? Yeah, Pacino.
He doesn't even have to die for his sphincter to give out.
It's a weird
He is-
performance. I know there's a lot to the character of him being like naive and him being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but
that's literally how the character's written, and he's supposed to be like kind of realizing he's enjoying it. He's like he never seems. And another thing about his performance, which I didn't like, was he never seems against it. Like he doesn't have any reservations once he realizes it's like he's got to pretend to be gay, quote unquote, pretend. He's not like, get off me, bro. There's no like machoism.
Well, here's
Is
machismo.
that the
So
word? Like at the beginning, there could have been one. Like there could have been. I don't think the spectrum of him coming into being out of the closet or whatever, however you want to say it. I don't think that it was too short, or it wasn't wide enough. He didn't have a big enough journey. It was literally like 2 months of him not acting any different. The one time he acts different is when he huffs that ether or whatever and starts dancing like a maniac.
there's some weird shit in this movie that's very subtle. So in the opening scene, after the cops do the cruising thing, there's like a murder. And in that murder, there's two dudes. And I really like this first killing because there's a guy wearing like a jumpsuit, like a NASA kind of jumpsuit that's open with his nipple showing, his big buff breast. And
Big buff breast.
he's
A lot of
flirting.
hunks in this movie. A lot of hunks in this movie.
A lot of hunks with like big Italian
Nipples.
faces, Italian and Jewish, like Cro-Magnon
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of variety.
noses, tall heads.
They're also like racist. Did you
These
notice
guys-
that? They
Well,
had like
hold
an
on.
S. They were like Aryan.
But that was like cool. So they're like, that's like biker shit. But
Yeah, racist.
so these guys are all giant dudes, and it's very funny. They're like, when Paul Sorvino hires Al Pacino, is like, I need a cop who looks like you. We need someone who looks like you because all the victims look like you. But all the victims are like way bigger,
ripped, just jacked,
It's
just like different
all the victims
hairstyles.
are-
None of them looked like him. The killer looked more like him than anything.
So
When we find
in this
out.
first scene, this guy's flirting. He's very like likable, like he's smiling. He just seems like
He's kind of he's a real Ryan Gosling type, I'd say. He like doesn't say too much, and in saying not a lot, he looks cool as fuck, very
Are you
stoic.
talking about the killer?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the victim. The victim's very
Oh yeah,
likable.
yeah, jumpsuit
And
nipple.
this is good. This is good setup because within like 2 minutes, he's like tied up and getting stabbed. One of my favorite shots in the movie, probably my favorite shot,
But that was the next
it's the
morning.
one of their legs on the overhead in the hotel room, and then that one guy walks in with his like boots, and then the other guy like touches it.
Yeah,
It's like a fucking Renaissance painting of two guys doing poppers and like looking at porno mags having gay sex like in a hotel
that's
room.
how
It's
all of those scenes were.
that one's
you-
really
okay, did you-
specific
did you-
though and really well directed. Like
Yes. So I asked on the text thread if this movie is offensive to like the gay. I'm sure
Oh, I
it's
didn't see that.
offensive to some people.
Well,
But is it like, does it hold up? And what I noticed, the only thing that I noticed was the gay. It was also focused on one specific gay club, that precinct club or whatever. So that's one genre of gay. There's like
No,
a whole
there's-
bunch of different
There's a
types
few
of
clubs
people.
they go to. He goes to the leather,
Oh, well,
strictly
it's all
leather one,
bit-
then
it's
a cop
all
one,
like-
then like a punk.
well, it's like
Bar.
Cop
That was the same
Oh, I
club,
see.
just
Oh, gotcha,
different.
gotcha.
Yeah, like
Hold
themed
on,
nights.
hold on. Let's talk about this. So
Well, I was
Hold
gonna
on.
say real quick,
What?
when it shows two men like hooking up, it's like either aggressive in the kink realm in front of a bunch of people, or they don't show it at all. And the music's like kind of heavier metal and more intense and thrillery. But then when they show Al Pacino when they show heterosexual love, it's beautiful pianos and it's love making and it's like flopping around on the bed. I'm like, okay, that seemed a little
But,
these guys aren't having making love.
proselytizing.
They're having
Yeah, it's like
they're
a
having
specific
sex.
community.
Yeah,
High
that's
risk.
what I'm saying. I get it's a specific
also-
genre of.
But also, like, I don't know, that works really well to further put you in the Al Pacino's point of view.
How
the
chaotic his underground, his
the sound
undercover-
design in this movie is awesome, and like the music is really unexpectedly cool, I thought. And like, yeah, it's like a lot of like kind of like more punk shit, rock shit than like
yeah. So we got to
sort
talk
of
about
disco thing that you
why
would
that
think.
is. So first, the movie was highly protested when it was being made. Gay people thought this was like really bad for their look and image. They hated the movie, even though they hadn't seen it. There were all these protests, yada yada yada. Now the movie is beloved by the gay community, or not, I wouldn't say beloved, but it's like respected because it's actually a good movie and it's very non-judgmental, and that
yes,
non-judgmental, just observing,
Sympathetic.
passive viewing, and sympathetic for the characters. And honestly, believable, because when they pack the gay bars, they're just extras from the gay bars. So,
I love.
We got to
the
talk about
extras.
these scenes. These
It
scenes are like
feels real.
revolutionary scenes.
well, you hold on.
Okay.
So it's not that it's, I don't know, like it's Friedkin is his background's in documentary. So when he would make like his first movie is a documentary that got a convicted killer released from prison by
he's the man.
proving the case was false. And then
And that guy went on to kill a bunch of people.
And then he made a bunch of movies that were based on plays. He made The Boys in the Band, which was a revolutionary gay movie back in like the late 60s, early
Is
70s.
he gay?
He's not gay.
But he's
from
like
Chicago.
a boundary pusher. He's like an early boundary pusher.
He's
So
just from a guy from
wants these-
Chicago.
he
who
made The
worked in
Exorcist. He
news.
is looking for.
No.
Yeah, The Exorcist is like an anti, or like kind of a that's a protest movie. He's making like subversive.
Yeah, it was
movies.
like anti-demons, right?
Right. But he's not.
Anti-possession.
It's different than that. He's not a boundary pusher.
Which is wrong.
He's not like Oliver Stone. He's not a provocateur. He's not pushing buttons on purpose. It's just that his background is in news and documentary, and he just doesn't. And he is a fully like a really uneducated guy from Chicago who doesn't give a fuck. And like he said, he met this couple that taught him about art when he was in his early 20s, and that when he was growing up, he lived in a 1-bedroom, like 400 square foot apartment with his parents, like something like really crazy. Like, and they didn't speak English. So
wait, where's he from? Or where are they from?
Chicago. They're from like Poland or something.
Gotcha.
So he's just a crazy. I mean, he has a thrill-seeking personality. When he made French Connection, he shot a 100-mile-per-hour sequence with no street permits. He does a lot of dangerous shit. He permanently injured Ellen Burstyn on the set of Exorcist when he tied a rope around her and like swung her around, slamming her into the wall. And like he personally didn't do it, but like he had the stunt guy go like,
Yeah, he's responsible.
He's like hit her harder. Like he would do things like that. So he's like a maniac.
Gets the job done.
Yeah.
And when he made this movie, he met these mafia guys who owned the gay clubs, and they're like, you could shoot whatever you want. Just don't talk about my business. So apparently when they go to these gay nightclubs, they just shot everything as it was, didn't do any set dressing. But they do say that he did say that like he hated the music because it was like disco. So he played punk music and like
That's
underground rock. He got like
tone.
Oh,
like,
so he did change
really
the music.
cool,
Yeah.
yes,
I think.
yes.
Well, it makes it like that whole, and I love this in every movie. When the person leaves the club and it's just noise, people, and then they leave the club and it's an empty New York street and it's just like silent immediately.
Yeah.
There's a few of those shots in this.
Yeah.
But
and
the noise does like add the suspense to like that, and then he's alone in his apartment and it's nice and quiet, or his
It's kinda
neighbors
like-
are yelling.
Yeah, it's like kind of impressionistic sound design actually, where like like some of the killer's dialogue is like 80 yard in a weird way, and it kind of makes you. I listen to this movie with headphones on, and it felt
Alone
like.
under your bed.
Are you scared?
Were you in a coffin?
No, I'm just saying I really could appreciate the sound design or whatever. It like felt like it has sound design choices that feel like you're in like the protagonist's head or the killer's head, like specific head, hearing what they hear. You know what I mean?
Because you have headphones on. You're just like, I hear it in my ear. I don't hear anything else.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
There's
can't
cool
even
stuff
hear
like
my
that.
own thoughts. Maybe you should always
But-
watch movies with headphones.
Yeah. No, I do it so I can like actually like kind of follow it. I just
for
have
you,
to turn
bud.
it down. I can't have it
Good
loud
for you.
enough because my fucking baby's sleeping in the other room.
You can't
But,
crank the surround sound.
Put
and just
headphones on
fucking
your
go-
baby.
Let him join in.
Look, the movie is, he directed The Exorcist. He knows how to make a movie fucking scary. So one thing that's cool is the guy in the first movie, the killer, he has this really long face, and that guy
What movie?
shows up in The Brambles, the same actor with Al Pacino when he's undercover. And there's a scene where Al Pacino's standing under like a
Central
bridge,
Park, right?
and there's like a light over him, and he sees Joe Spinell, the cop, and they kind of make eye contact, and then nothing happens. And then
No,
you see
Joe Spinell wants to. He tries to like get him to follow him into the bushes.
Yes.
cop.
And he doesn't follow. And then that
He's
other
too
guy,
scared.
that other actor shows up, and then Al Pacino follows him, and then it just cuts. So what I'm saying is Al Pacino had sex with that guy.
Mm.
That's, yeah. How many times?
The killer.
And then that
Oh,
killer,
sex with the
that
killer?
actor who played the killer, then another scene after this, he's in the Rambles or whatever it's called, and he hooks up with this dude, and then that dude starts singing songs to him like,
Oh yeah.
"You're all alone," or like whatever. He's like whispering, and then that guy gets killed. So the killer in the first scene is the second victim of the movie. And also Al Pacino had sex with him in between that.
That's interesting.
Wait, so the killer in the first scene's dead is the second victim?
Yes. And also in the first, in
And
the
so Al
opening-
Pacino is the killer then?
No. Because
So
Al
is
Pacino's
there-
not in the first scene.
That's
Is there
idiotic,
no
right?
killer? Well, if the killer gets killed, are you just saying they reused an actor?
The killer is no. The
Or is this part of the script?
He thinks he's getting the killer at the end, but it's somebody else because the killer's kind of like. There's a lot of actors that look alike that are like
Yeah,
play
they all
the
have the
role of what
curly
you think the
hair.
killer is. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Like the movie purposely cast like multiple
Yeah.
people to play the killer throughout, basically.
Because the movie has multiple killers.
But it
There's a
makes
setup
me-
in the
oh.
beginning. In the opening scene of the movie,
Oh.
the morgue, and when they find like a body part,
Oh, shit.
the cops are saying like, yeah, just say it's all the same killer, blah, 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 or just blame this guy.
Oh, right.
Because
and
we don't-
the more guy's pissed.
We just
'cause-
want to close it out.
We're just juking the stats. So
but that's why I thought it was like a metaphor for AIDS. It's like a perfect metaphor for.
yeah,
for
but this
AIDS,
happened
basically.
before AIDS was a thing.
I
Adam.
know, but that's why I'm saying it's
you.
prescient.
It-
That's
it
why I said the
it
word
predicted
prescient
AIDS.
earlier.
Now, here's
This
what the movie is
caused
based
Remember when I
on.
said
predicted
that?
AIDS.
You want to know what the movie is inspired by? This is funny. So there was a gay serial killer in the 1970s, and he's killing all these dudes, and then
Typical.
he's arrested.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
And turns out that the guy who was the killer was an extra in The Exorcist. And
Whoa.
he's in The Exorcist. So when she's getting all her weird tests in the hospital, the guy who's doing the x-rays, the radiologist, is
A
later
serial killer
is a serial killer who
in
the
real
director-
life. Wow.
that the same director, William Friedkin, then talked to him before he made this movie to get like insight into
After
his
he was
mind.
caught.
Yeah.
And then he goes, also, if you're looking for any extra work, we always are looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be, any other actors in there? Like any good headshots?
I love when the movies have real creepy people in them. You know what I mean? Like the
movie?
or the
I
what?
mean, that's how Dahmer went. He
Which you
cruised.
star in?
That's how he killed most of his victims, was
I
cruising.
get what you're saying.
Well, you could see Jeffrey Dahmer in
Ryan.
the background of Groundhog's Day.
He
one of
was-
the,
That's cool.
he's
Yeah, and he was
He's the
supposed to
homeless
actually
guy.
do the
Folk.
voice. He was supposed to do the voice of the gopher.
he's the
But
homeless
they-
guy that
They
or the
cut him
drunk
off
guy
of that.
in the car.
Yeah, so they
Oh
they
yeah,
gave
that
him
get soup and shit.
yeah they made him
And then
the
die.
drunk
He's the
guy, and
homeless
he got
guy.
pissed about it, and that's when he went on his spree for.
Damn. All
No,
'cause
he's
of
not the
Groundhog
homeless
Day.
guy. He's the drunk guy that he drives on the train
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah, with the two like
He's also in
Chicago
the
guys.
Burbs. He's in the Burbs. He plays Tom Hanks.
He
neighbor.
plays the
That-
cul-de-sac.
That's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ryan just knows about the Jeffrey Dahmer, by the way, because he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. Or used to really look like Jeffrey Dahmer.
I'm white and I wear glasses, dude.
Adam
I look
kind of
like
looks like
every
John
mass
Wayne
shooter,
Gacy.
and I look like every serial killer.
No,
because
honestly, you look like John Wayne Gacy more than I do, motherfucker.
yeah, actually, William, you do. No, actually,
William
no.
is the
With your
most
shorter
serial.
hair, Adam, and you're in a shed.
Ryan,
yeah.
don't do this for a laugh.
Have you ever seen Pogo the Clown? That's Adam to a T.
Um,
I'm a bozo guy.
I went to an art show
I
of John
agree.
Wayne Gacy. And what I didn't realize about John Wayne Gacy, those paintings of the clown that he did, is that he would literally do like 20 of them a day, all day,
Yeah.
every day. And he was
Holy
just,
shit.
he was just in prison. Like, yeah, I'm making so much money. This is so great. He was just, they were just like simple outlines of the same thing, the same colors.
Oh, it wasn't even like he was trying.
And he was making so much fucking money selling
People just
them.
thought it was crazy that a crazy guy like that would have like this weird Daniel Johnston art style.
The victims were upset. And so the victims' families. So
Right.
I was like, the victims are dead.
they put a stop
That's why they're
to
upset.
that's why you can't sell artwork related to your crimes if you're convicted.
That's cool. That's
Because
an
you could
interesting good law, I think.
Yeah.
Anybody
Also,
against that?
why didn't they fucking kill him? Why was he alive?
All right, listen, let's talk about the movie because we got to talk about these scenes in the
Talk
pan.
about them. Talk about them.
Well, there is like I remember because the James Franco fucking thing. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
fake.
Well, but there's like an X-rated version of this movie.
No, there's not. This is a fake rumor. There is no
What
extra
is this
40
rumor?
minutes of footage. William Friedkin shot the movie, cut it. This is the movie. There's never been all these other scenes. So
Are you like a?
He's a movie
Are
guy.
you the first person saying this?
no, you can go on IMDb. William
What do you
Friedkin
got?
told James
What's that?
Franco he was full of shit. He wrote in his book that this is bullshit. He said
Oh,
this
wow.
is just stupid. Why
What
would
did James Franco say?
I mean, that's okay. You can fucking make it up.
what is the
I-
rumor that's not real?
Here's the rumor that's not real, and Adam believes and got excited
I
by.
just thought it.
And Adam's obsessed
I
with
just
it. He
heard
won't
about
stop
it. I was like,
talking
oh,
about
wow,
it. And he's got posters about it in his house, and he's fucking writes
Here's
it in
the
his journal
rumor.
every day. He's obsessed.
On IMDb.com trivia, someone wrote that there were 40 minutes of extra scenes that William Friedkin shot to show the MPAA. Then he would get an X rating and then cut those 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then it would pass to get an R rating. And that it was supposed to have fisting and just like all the close-ups, but it's all like, why would he shoot that? Why would he think that would get in the movie? Like,
You also just can't do that.
it's just gay porn. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's apparently gay porn in the movie. I'm not
So, have you
an
seen the
immature
James,
little-
the James Franco thing? Is like a gay porn movie, basically.
it's never been released outside of Sundance. No
well,
one's seen
who's
a
James
copy.
Franco? Why is
Wow.
he involved in this?
He
I
made
don't
this
know.
short that was like,
Adam's
Oh,
such
he
an
makes
idiot. He
movies.
fell for this fucking idiotic.
This
Look,
This is
rapist,
called
this
Valley
sex
Hill.
offenders.
if James Franco's claims something
This-
is true, it's
This horrible
I
director,
believe
good
it.
actor, horrible director, James Franco. That's my humble opinion.
He's not even that great of an actor.
He's good.
you got to think about freaks and geeks.
He's no
and bef-
Pacino.
before all this stuff.
You got to think
He's
about
no
fucks and
Pachinko.
sucks. You ever see sucks and fucks?
Spring Breakers.
The two cops, the two gay cops at the beginning of the movie. Hey, officer
Sucks
sucks.
and fucks.
Officer fucks. My old lady
but-
moved to Florida. I'm
Okay,
gonna go
okay.
beat up some queers. And then Adam is just walking down the street with like an ice cream cone. And then these two
Melted.
cops just fucking, hey, get over here. You're like, what? No, leave me alone. Like, get over here.
Not again.
And Adam's just
I
wearing
see
like
the way you lick
shorts.
that cream.
He fucked up.
Give us some of
Oh,
that
and his ice
cone.
cream,
Come
his
on,
ice cream
guys.
falls off. It falls off. They like knock it off his cone, and they go, "Uh-oh, looks like you need a new queen.
Looks like you need some
Come on
dessert,
into my
buddy.
cop car. Come on into my
You-
cop car. I got some ice cream for you."
I got something sweet for you, buddy. And Adam's just like
yeah, you like push
wearing
pops?
jorts and like a striped shirt with
Just
like
So
like
your
2
guy,
inch-
so to
2
you
inch
guys,
jorts.
it's funny that I get sexually assaulted
yeah,
by,
yeah.
by
By
two
James
cops,
Franco.
male cops.
By two James and Casey Franco.
Casey.
Wait.
Dave.
Dave.
James. Sorry, I get
Officer
the
Sucks
Affleck.
and
James
Fucks.
and Dave
This is the
Franco.
40 minutes that was cut.
Yeah. Look, we can't. Are we ready?
Adam's just in
Do these jokes.
oversized. He's in oversized cowboy
Cruising
boots
episode.
and jorts that are just a little too short, a little too snug on his little 6-year-old body.
I think what?
I know. See, the thing is with this movie is I don't find any of this shocking or weird or unusual because I'm from San Francisco.
Yeah, the murders were. The murders were. Oh, you're talking about what we're talking about.
Multiple.
In San Francisco, there are nude men who walk around the Castro who are like 60 years old.
You grew up in the Castro?
I grew up like 4 blocks from the Castro.
Okay.
So it's
the
just
murders
like
are pretty shocking.
Yeah,
he stabbed the dude in the butthole.
Shocking.
He stabbed the dude in the butthole like 20 times.
No, he didn't stab him in his butthole. He was
yes,
raping him,
he
dude.
did.
Back in the beginning. Are you talking about the first victim?
3 times. Dude, go back and
You'd
listen
see
to the
his
coroner.
back.
Listen to the
Oh,
coroner.
yeah.
The
Oh, he
coroner
says-
says he
yes,
said he got
yes.
stabbed 3 times in the back, and then he's like, and there is like 10 ruptures in the anus.
Yeah, that was just, I think, violent sodomy.
No, and if you rewatch the scene, he stabs like this,
But there's
twice,
there's
and
cut
then
to frames
and then he's
of,
holding
like,
it.
Dick, I think,
Adam,
right?
listen to me.
Adam just reads the trivia, but doesn't watch the movie. He doesn't
I didn't read the
actually.
And then
I did not.
and
read
then
the
it
trivia.
cuts to
I
a
never do.
scene where the knife is
me.
in a different position, and it's pretty obvious he's sticking it up his butt.
Oh.
And it all happens in like 2 seconds. And then I
Jesus.
saw that and I was like, oh, maybe that was just like a flash edit thing. But then it cuts to the coroner or whatever
Who
they're
cares?
called.
I
And
mean,
he's like,
look.
he was stabbed
Yeah,
in
what's
the
the
butt.
point? What's your point?
There's gay sex.
That's
there's
brutal, man.
murders.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Crazy.
We got to
But-
talk about the cool cops. It's about cops. And this is the coolest scene in the movie is when they need to bust someone. They need to bust anyone. They need to get the fucking case finished with. Okay. He's getting pressure from gay rights groups. So this Al Pacino talks to this guy at a bar one night and they're like, oh yeah, what about him? Oh, he works at a steak restaurant. And then you see Ed O'Neill from Married with Children and this other guy walk into the steak restaurant. And this is William Friedkin loves cops and really gets their behaviors, which is they're just like dumb assholes, but they're getting
With too much like power. Yeah.
These 2 guys eating steak. I don't know why it's such an entertaining scene. It just is. And then,
I did like it.
and they just like they both sit on the same side of the booth. So there's a
yeah.
little
What
of that.
the hell was that?
Well, that's that gay hint undertone thing that all the cops have a little gayness in them. But also it's like, then they can observe everyone in the restaurant and they look at the suspect and they see him and they're like, there is the suspect. And then they see all these people eating steak with a knife. And then, they're having a good little afternoon. They're like, we're going to order some steaks. One of the perks of being undercover, you get a nice little steak meal. Like they eat a whole meal. And I love that.
I don't think this guy's Ed O'Neill, by the
They
way.
ordered drinks.
Yes,
too.
it is.
They ordered drinks too.
Hold on a second.
How
hold
could
on.
that not
Adam,
be
the
Ed
dude was-
O'Neill?
the
His
dude-
name
Adam,
is
the
in the
dude was-
credits. It's
The
Ed
dude
O'Neill.
was
different
stabbed in
one.
the butt,
It's a
and this is
different
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill's in the steak restaurant. Ed O'Neill's in the interrogation scene afterwards. So the interrogation scene is the
oh my
coolest
God.
shit.
That
Ever.
is the coolest cop. The
This
black
is-
dude is
Yeah,
the
he's cool.
coolest
This
cop.
is these are cool cops. This is
Okay,
what
so
we're
set it
talking
up though.
about.
Why set up the interrogation?
So we've
Another.
been
It's
doing,
a second sting, right?
we got some flashy cops this month. We're doing Stone Cold. He's flashy. We're doing Chow Yun Fat, Hard Boiled, Tequila, but sleazy New York cops. That's a whole other special type of cool cop. So these like 5 cops bust this dude with Al Pacino, and then Al Pacino's undercover, so he's just like in the interrogation scene with this other guy, and he's just like he doesn't answer anything. He's playing coy. But
Again, really bad scene by Al Pacino. He just sits,
But-
fucking awful.
apparently this is a real thing New York cops used to do. They would get a 6'5" black guy to walk in the room in his jockstrap.
Muscle guy, thick little butt on him too. Nice little rump.
And then
And a
just
cowboy hat.
wearing
my
a cowboy
God.
hat and then
And
just
boots.
slap the suspect across the face.
And then walk
And-
out of the room.
And they said they would
That's
do
a
this
real
because
thing.
no one would believe their story.
That's like what Bill Murray does when he sees fans. He interacts with fans or whatever. He'll do something
crazy
along the
stuff.
lines of having a
Touch
He's
him,
just
random
like-
touch him
6'5"
inappropriately.
black guy.
He
and
sees Adam walking down
wearing
the
a
street with an
cowboy
ice
hat,
cream
slap you.
cone,
And he goes, hello.
and he just pulls down his pants and violently rapes him in the ass.
Oh my God.
That's what
Adam,
you find
And
funny.
then
any
when-
comments?
leans forward, whispers in Adam's ears, No one's going to believe you.
Caddyshack.
Nobody's going to believe you.
Adam, your response?
He does it in the form
he
of-
does it in the Caddyshack voice.
That would make it harder. Yeah, more unbelievable. I just don't find that kind of humor funny. So
You were just laughing, man.
Work for Cosby.
You're laughing right now.
no, what are you talking about?
Work for Bill Cosby.
like
He got
Al
away with
Pacino.
it. No one
You
believed
do
him.
what kind of humor do you think's funny, Adam? Do a funny joke.
Yeah, do it in a Mike Epps style. You're a big
Do a
Mike
Mike Epps funny joke.
You love Mike Epps.
Come on, guys.
He just says,
I'm on my phone.
Come
I'm
on,
entertained.
do a Mike's.
Tell us a funny
Fuck
version.
Sell us a what?
You're walking down the street. Mike Epps sees you eating
that
an
would-
ice cream cone.
It's just the same stuff.
He does what? He tells
Mike
you
Epps
like,
sees you. He's Officer Suck. And
Talks
you're
about
just-
like how, if your girl finds your phone, like it's
He's
a
just some
rap,
cop talking
you know?
to some kid about his girl.
and she's all pissed. Like if you get a black woman pissed off, like you don't want to get a black woman pissed off, that kind of stuff.
Whoa,
That's what he-
Adam. Jesus.
That's a big, really big bit of his in the
No
special
way.
question.
Yeah, but when you say it, it sounds offensive, man.
I'm just,
I'm
That's one of
offended
his
by
bringing
that.
your own prejudices into this.
You know
That's
what?
a
Let's talk about Adam getting raped by Bill Murray again. Because Bill Burr.
Adam's walking down the
Bill
street
Murray.
with his ice cream cone.
Bill Burr doing a Bill Murray impression.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Bill Murray from Ghostbusters shows up with the proton pack and just sticks it
Fucking Bill
right
Murray.
up his
He goes,
ass. Just sticks it up his
Shoots
ass.
it, or just
we're
sticks it?
crossing streams tonight, buddy, and nobody's
like-
gonna believe you.
There's a couple of ghosts up there.
I got some C4.
It's like when he's wearing the Ghostbusters costume, but he's talking like Caddyshack.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Cinderella story.
I don't find this kind of. Sorry, guys. I don't think this is that funny.
He finds out a
Okay.
candy bar in your asshole and eats it. He's like, "What? It's still good."
Oh, is that from
I don't think
Caddyshack?
there's anything humorous about what you're saying.
A
finds a
robotic
baby
gopher
Ruth.
pops out.
Completely
No, the robotic gopher is Officer
Standard.
Suck.
stuff. Normal, not a big deal.
And the less funny version of this, the
Beautiful,
sequel,
actually.
it's Dan Aykroyd. It's a little Caddyshack 2
Oh.
joke.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, apparently cops used to just have a big black guy in a cowboy hat in his jockstrap slap dudes around, and that
Was
they would
he
just
a
be like,
That's
cop?
cool.
Hey,
Or they
no
just get
one
on
is gonna believe you. So what are you gonna do? They also like are Ed O'Neill's in that scene screaming
It's
about
not
like,
Ed O'Neill. It's not.
Adam.
It's Ed Sheeran.
It's a
How
different.
much do you
Ed
want to
O'Neill.
bet? I'll do anything.
Well, let me look at the guy again.
No.
You're
How much
No,
you
I
want
was
to
just
bet?
looking at it.
Take your
Okay.
clothes off.
It's
Take
one
your
of the
clothes off.
cops who.
Adam, take your clothes off. You're wrong. Get naked.
if I win, you have
lost
to take your
You
clothes
lost
off.
the bet already.
I'm
Remember,
already
this,
naked in the shed.
I am 100% right about this. So
Ed
what,
O'Neill from Married with Children.
what humiliating sex things are you going to do for me on camera for the Zoom?
I mean, I don't think there's anything.
I'm
funny
thinking
about-
something like this. You're walking down the street. You got an
like,
ice
any
cream
sex
cone.
thing.
Okay. And then Bill Murray has an elephant.
Are you looking it up, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay.
Ryan is the judge. And then Bill Murray takes the elephant
What's your final answer, Adam?
and they rape you.
What's the bet?
And he's like,
What's the bet?
What's the bet? Because I got the answer.
I don't
Ryan,
know
I'll
any
take
more.
your
I don't know
sunglasses
any
off.
more lines from Caddyshack. I can't do the bit anymore. I can't remember anymore.
I always have trouble remembering specific lines.
Ed O'Neill
Ted-
plays Detective Schreiber.
But is it the same? You have to cross-reference it with. Now you have to go to his page and
I
see
am
if it's
right.
the same
Why am I
guy from
listening to
Married
this
with Children.
moron blow
don't
It is
see
Ed
it.
O'Neill
It's not.
from Married with Children is
I don't see
Detective
it.
Schreiber.
Listen to this.
It's literally
fucking
right there. I just Googled his name
Face-
and then
autistic face amnesia, fucking
What the
neurologically failing
What the
human being
fuck?
of a person who can't recognize Ed O'Neill.
acting like you
There's a
got
different
blood
guy
like,
in my movie.
a
You been
beloved
getting
sitcom
shocked
actor.
or what?
The first time I saw this movie in the Castro, by the way, I in the Castro movie theater. I'm sitting there, nude, slowly jerking, making it last. I see Ed O'Neill. I'm like, that's Ed O'Neill. Immediately, I'm like, that's Ed O'Neill. That's Ed
And
O'Neill.
that's when he
Ed
busted?
O'Neill is
Look,
in this movie. Ed
here's the
O'Neill's in this
thing.
movie. Ed O'Neill's in this movie.
Ed O'Neill.
Oh!
He's not in the following
Modern
stakeout
Family.
scene though, and that's what I was looking at.
The interrogation
huge-
scene.
This is a huge L for me.
He's in the interrogation scene. Now here's what he's saying. He's like, we're gonna put your balls in a pail of water, and if they float, oh buddy.
Yeah, he does the old witches.
Because sperm sinks.
Oh
Is
no,
what
this
he's
is-
saying.
So this just
No,
sounds
they
like a
kill her.
witch hunt. It literally sounds like a witch hunt. They used to
So
drown.
he's looking for a man who has no sperm.
These are not good detectives. Okay.
They also
But they're-
made the kid jerk off in front of him. That's like crazy terrorist interrogation tactics.
Wait, I thought it was really funny that first of all, thinking about Al Pacino as a guy who's confused about his sexuality or whatever, and he's like kind of like there's a double thing going on of him, like it's like a seduction. All the cruising scenes are like half seduction, half like suspense killer shit. You know what I mean? So like he's actually in that scene where like the cops are on the stakeout watching him go to this like motel and hook up with this guy who he thinks is the killer. Their radio goes out, they can't hear him, so they like panic and think that he's going to get killed because he's basically getting like tied up. So it's like them running up and like they bust in on Al Pacino and he's like tied up to
He's
the bed.
hogtied.
He's like
hogtied. Yeah,
there's
like
an
all the victims.
insecurity about him because he's like being like,
Well,
am I gay? I have a girlfriend and stuff. I'm
Shut
not
up.
gay. Like,
Just shut up.
No,
This
this
is
is-
one of
In
the-
that scene-
I-
in
this
that
is one of
scene,
the
though-
worst things I've ever heard anyone ever say on the podcast. And
And
I just want to
that's-
apologize to the audience.
Why?
I'm sorry. That was so boring. I should have cut it off. And I'm just
Also,
like,
in
is this
that
going to
scene-
pay?
well, I'm getting
Is this
to
gonna-
it. I'm getting to it.
Get
In
to
that
the
scene-
fucking point.
Okay,
there
so-
is a point.
Well, I'm explaining like the kind of
Here we go.
complexness of the movie, and
Complexness.
somebody's got to.
Complexity.
And
It's
and
okay.
so like
We get words wrong. All right, go on.
thinking about being like a straight guy or whatever, and like one of the funny things about like
Okay, so you're wrong. He's not insecure in that scene. The first thing he says to him is like, why'd you bust me? Why'd you come in? It's not ready yet. And it shows you how committed to the case he is, that he's hogtied. He's about to basically have sex with
But-
this other dude.
but it looks like
But
they're
he's-
busting in on him about to have gay sex, which he's like
He
super
was.
insecure about wanting.
But he's not insecure, because if you look in the scene, he's not insecure at all. He's like, why'd you bust me? I almost had the case cracked.
No, I read
This
insecure.
You're
This
just
goes back-
misreading things. You're just assuming things, and you're
But
fucking
here,
not
I'm gonna
paying
say
this is
attention
why
to the
it's
movie.
good. That's why it's good.
I'm gonna
You are
Because you-
having flights of fancy, Adam. You are having little.
No.
You're listening. You got your
Well,
headphones on.
That's good
You're
to
in your
have flights
shed.
of fancy.
You're just.
A movie should inspire flights of fancy.
Ed O'Neill walks on screen. You're like, that's not Ed O'Neill. Ryan, I cut you off. What were you saying?
What?
that Adam has kind of somehow encroached back into my point about Al Pacino not being a good actor in this movie, because that
Maybe he's bringing
scene,
something into it.
but also the script on that scene is
William's
you can
lifting
hear,
weights right now.
you can hear they're like 2-pounders and he's struggling.
No, that's pretty.
You can
cool.
hear
It
him
looks
over the
pretty awesome.
radio. You can hear him over the radio controlling. He brought that boy to the room and he goes, I want you to tie me up. And the boy's like, this is weird. I don't want to do that. So immediately he's obviously not the killer. And Al Pacino knows he's not the killer because he's making him do all these weird things that the killer did. And the kid's like, I've never done anything that crazy. I just wanted to like have sex or something. So Al Pacino's the one that basically hogtied himself up. So he's like in it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not insecure. So
No insecurity.
get to the-
no, he
let's
was
get-
insecure about it being like known by the other cops.
No, he was pissed that they didn't
what?
get. he
He's
was
talking
pissed
to
that
them. They know who
blew
he
the
is.
bus. Yeah, they knew.
He's not
what was
insecure.
he knew they were listening in. He
If
knew
anything, he's
that
It's like a
there was
suspense
fake
film, but if you're watching it from the point of view of like how funny
That is
it-
the one scene he's
something
not
that's very
insecure about
funny
it,
is
though.
like
all right, move on. We're moving on. Who cares? We agree to disagree.
damn,
So
I was
if
so
he's
close to the point.
if he's insecure with anything, it's with his girlfriend, who he doesn't discuss any details with. He's very cold, can't talk about his feelings with her, and with the other cops, he's fine with it because they got to
Well,
get
they
the
know
case
you
done.
can't talk about.
Well, he's talking about the
undercover
case,
work
but he's not
with
talking about his
civilians.
weird,
You can't-
his
Exactly, Ryan.
strange feelings. You know, it's just a parallel that is there, and it's a really good part of the movie. I don't know why you're feeling like that. You know, but
I just don't see it in that moment. I
Okay,
see it
but
in
then
the
it's very funny,
relationship with
too.
his girlfriend. So
it's funny too, like him being in that interrogation scene afterwards. Of like, if they don't,
That scene
because the
pissed
other
me
cops
off,
didn't
man.
know that he was undercover.
yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
I thought only the captain knew.
They have a fucking
No, they
radio
all-
in the fucking room that he's
Adam,
in,
they
and he's
that
talking
stake.
to
He
them.
was a part of
God,
the
can't
stakeout.
you
That
follow
was his
fucking
plan.
Anything
He said he saw the kid. The kid approached him the night before and
he
was
talks
like,
to the cops. He's like,
and
"Why
he
did
was
you
like,
bust me yet? We're not ready yet." Yada yada
well,
yada.
even before that, the kid literally who he thinks is the killer walks up to him and he's like, "Do you want to go to your place?" And he's like, he goes like, "No." I'm starting to
whoops
get William's frustration.
You're fucking
Well,
stupid.
no, look, it's
There's
good.
a whole
You
20
have headphones
minutes of the
on.
movie.
A really
You
good
need-
a sign of a really good movie is that a stupid person
Incorrect.
can have a flight of fancy and also
Oh,
have an equally
well,
good
here
time.
we go.
No,
You know?
that's not true.
Who said that? Orson Welles or
You know, one of the great
Adam's
things
doctor?
about Dickens, reading Dickens is when you start reading it, you can just kind of start thinking about whatever you want and put the book down and just have your own imagination. And that's the
kinda hard to do when
beauty
you're reading.
that's the beauty of Moby Dick. Is that you don't have
Makes
to actually
reading
read it.
tough.
You can just make up anything in your mind and
Anyway, let's talk about the big finale.
Boy,
so
guys.
in the first
This is
scene in
he's
the
got
movie,
a screwdriver now.
in the
What
first scene in the
fuck?
movie, there is a victim that's talked about that we never see get killed. It's a professor. And then also the neighbor Al
hand?
Pacino talks to, he says like, oh yeah, this professor got killed at Columbia. And then there's this guy who's been seen throughout the movie a couple of times. He's a Columbia student that Al Pacino recognizes from the yearbook. And then he starts tailing him. And
Yeah, I didn't get the yearbook thing. All the victims went to the same school.
no, so this Columbia professor was killed. So this is kind of like Silence of the Lambs. In Silence of the Lambs, there's a victim that's you never see get killed. And the first victim has the closest connection to the killer that they then circle back to and go like, oh, the killer lived across the
Was a
street from the
student.
victim.
Oh, got it.
Oh, the killer was a student of the teacher.
It's always somebody you know, right?
And then there's a cool scene where you see this Columbia student at the park talking to his father. And it's kind of like a weird fantasy dream sequence because there's no way his dad from Ohio would be in New York. But the father has the voice that the killer's been using throughout the film, which is like this dubbed kind of soft voice. It's like very eerie because people will be talking like normal. And then you have this one voice that's clearly like compressed or
dubbed
something.
ADR. I said that earlier.
It's not just dubbed; it's like compressed. It has like a phone filter.
Sure, it has a
on
thing.
it.
Yeah,
it
there's
has
a sound
like a
design
thing
on
on
it.
it.
I said this earlier.
I know, but we're talking about the fucking character that he has a conversation with in the park. That guy has the voice.
Yeah, so you hear it right away. Good stuff.
I rambled incoherently about this earlier. Why
Well, I
are
already
we
made the
circling
point.
back on it?
Look, I may be rambling incoherently,
We
but I'm
don't
making
all
the
play
point.
4D chess in our head like you, Adam, going in
That's true.
forwards and backwards, left and right, diagonal. You're like in a frenzy. Okay. You're trying to make all the points at once.
Oh, I'm making all the points at once. I'm succeeding.
You're winning you're winning the race of points. Okay.
Yeah.
You try to mention the most shit possible.
Oh yeah.
So Pacino suspects this guy and then he breaks in, reads a bunch of letters. I listened to the commentary a little bit and this critic, Mark Commode's like, so you have him just break into his house like with no search warrant. And he's like, yeah, I heard that from a real cop that I used to hang out with. Like, and then I asked him like, well, what would you do if like you got caught? The cop was like, I'll just show my badge and say I'm a cop. So that's a little hot tip for cops out there. Break into people's homes, rummage through their closet, and then make them the main suspects for murder cases. He finds a bunch of letters that were never sent to his father, all about his feelings. And it's like weird poetry about like, you know, being a serial killer.
Oh yeah, this is when the movie shifts to like who we think is the killer at the end, and we spend some time with him. That's good, and it also does a good thing of making the climax where he's cruising with the guy who, he and us think are the killer,
The suspect, yeah.
the suspect, but it feels like we're watching it from both. Like we understand, like the person who we think is the killer. They show like weird dad interaction with his dad or something like that.
We talked about that. All right. Okay.
Maybe I was pooping.
No, I just talked about it in front of you, you fucking weirdo. So
what? No, I'm saying that it's like it's a dual protagonistic climax where it's very loaded with the performances are both super loaded with.
So here's
motivation.
what's going on. Here's what's going on.
Another point for Adam.
The movie likes to put you in the head of the victim. Okay. So you're always like
a horror movie does.
Emotion. Shut up, dual protagonist, idiot. So
that's true.
They're dual protagonists. So
yeah,
when the suspect is being stalked by Pacino, Friedkin likes to put you in his head where he's now the victim. He's as the police are getting closer to him, he's feeling the heat. He's feeling the heat. This is kind of like heat. This is like heat.
It's kind of like sex. Heat. It really is like gay heat.
Yeah, it's a little gay heat.
Yeah, that's a dual protagonist sort of thing too.
That movie has two protagonists, correct?
That's also a double-sided dildo type situation.
This movie so the final climax is on a park bench.
The dildo's kind of like a protagonist when you think about it.
An ass-to-ass double dildo is the double protagonist. Okay.
No, that's the antagonist in Requiem for a Dream.
Oh yeah. So the final climax
of the Jafar of
the anal protagonist.
The Jafar. What if Jafar and all the Disney villains were in cruising in one scene? Scar, Jafar.
They're all modeled after
Medusa.
All the old Disney villains have a the artist for them was like the same artist, and it was like a gay man, but also like a lot of the old Disney cartoon villains like basically kind of read as gay. Like Jafar.
Captain Hook is gay.
Yeah.
Every villain is
Scar.
They're just like
it's elegant. That was like the language of
shut up.
Storytelling.
It's not the language of storytelling.
You're saying
or like a language of like simple storytelling.
Why do you let
so you're
this is
saying
something I told Adam about. I told him that the same animator did all those movies, and he was like, "What?"
So you're saying there's been an agenda from the start?
No,
they're trying to get at the kids.
It's like a reverse agenda. It's like to make the bad guy a gay, read as gay as bad.
Wrong. 90% of all actors are gay. Okay.
100% of everybody is gay, and 100% of everybody's gay. Nobody's happy. That's it.
Like we were saying earlier about gay men, they work the hardest. They have like the most.
They deserve the best life.
Get their craft, at the highest level. Gay actors run Hollywood. Gay animators run Disney. Okay.
Oh, it's a conspiracy.
And they run trains.
They run trains. They run the train business.
The new metro system. Metro's not just for the metrosexuals anymore. It's run by homosexuals.
So they can work the hardest and get the most shit done. You need to build a train across the country. You better hope you have a couple of gay guys. So
you better hope you have at least a couple.
This final scene on the park bench is the same park bench in The Warriors. At least it looks like it to me. So Pacino and this other dude stab each other.
Why did you just say no? We're not just gonna breeze over that. You just made up a fact. You made up a trivia and then just tried to brush by it. Like
you're trying to get a point.
Oh, that's the point. That's actually a bench from the last Avengers movie.
This is a famous bench. I recognize it.
It looks like every fucking.
I recognize
other
bench, and I'm correct. Adam can't even recognize a beloved actor.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't know that too. It was until you said it.
It's a shocking.
Look,
whatever. Right, this guy he kills. Blah blah blah. He's the killer. Whatever. He stabbed. I don't remember. The cops say in the hospital, like, why don't you confess to all these other murders too? And then we'll let you get a lighter sentence, setting up the multiple killer theory. And then at the end of the movie, Al Pacino is released. And what does he do? He murders his gay neighbor, maybe, and then goes and sees his girlfriend.
It's got to be
Gino,
him.
you think did it?
He has to, because he was next door. It just was too coincidental, and the cops even seemed like,
Whoa.
Yeah, because the
maybe
guy
it's
was
saying
like,
that's
guy was like, who lived over there, and then he
That's
knew
crazy.
he recognized
Sorvino,
the fake
Justin
name.
L.
The ultimate thing is like
Steve-
there is no one killer. It's like an epidemic, right?
So
yeah, but Al Pacino murders someone at the end of the movie.
So here we
too.
go.
Well, it's like
so here we
because
go.
he caught the epidemic.
Adam, hold on.
because of-
Shut up.
Okay.
That's not what happened. That's not exactly it.
So I've got
That's
a
part of
question
it.
because I didn't.
That's part of it. You're
Okay,
right.
well,
That's
you
part
have
of
to say
it.
shut up
I got a question
if it's
to
part
that,
of it.
because the whole thing was him like, was Al Pacino like, you got to get me out of here. You got to get me out from undercover. I'm having these feelings. I'm having weird feelings. Was he becoming a murderer or a gay person? Because at the what if he? No.
You want
Listen
to
though.
kill.
What if
that is the lesson we've learned from the movie?
If you
so don't
suppress
do
it,
it. Yeah.
no, it's like
You
we
will.
should encourage
If you
people to do
suppress
it.
it, you'll oppress it.
That's how we can end mass shootings. Is just make everybody be gay.
Adam's
No,
walking down
that's
the
how
street
he-
with an ice cream cone, and
A
the
bunch
trench coat
of-
mafia sees him,
Shows up.
and they have their guns, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing with those guns?" And those kids are like,
he
"Nothing,
knocks his own
man.
ice cream cone off.
why don't you leave us alone and go suck that ice cream like a dick?" And you're like, "Hey, why don't you come over here and I'll suck your dicks?" And then you don't need to kill anyone. They're like, "What?" And then it starts playing like really cool underground 80s punk music. So like, dun, 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 dun. And I'm just sucking off the trench coat mafia.
Never
He's
do
like,
that after what they did.
That's
in
exactly
Columbine.
how it goes. The
This
only
is
difference,
before they
William,
killed someone.
exactly how it goes. The only difference, William,
Other
is
kids
it's
somewhere.
Adam holding the ice cream cone, and he goes, "I only suck two things: dick and ice cream." And then he flicks the ice cream off of the cone, and he goes, "And I'm all out of ice cream." And he gets in the car and sucks off the Columbine shooters.
I don't think there's anything humorous about what you guys are saying right now. I think it's totally.
And then
Adam's
you
fucking
save the one of the biggest school shootings.
Yeah. See. Okay. I see. You're
They're
saying
like, the Uvalde police are
hero.
like, we need to
I
put
would-
you undercover. We gotta put you in elementary schools. We gotta find some
We're gonna
killers.
send you across the country.
So Adam's like dressed like a little kid. Like he's dressed like Nez from Earthbound. And he's just like in class. And all the
Just
kids
a
are
striped,
like,
just a yellow and blue striped shirt.
they're like, "What's up? Haven't seen you around here before." You're like, "Oh,
He's
I'm
just
just a new
yo-yoing.
student." They're like, cool. So why you got that yellow handkerchief in your pocket? You're like, "Oh, it's just fashion." They're like, "Buddy, don't be wearing that shit if you're not actually into this stuff."
And then ice cream comes out of nowhere, and Adam goes, "The only stuff I know is I love two things: sucking dick and sucking ice cream." And then instead of flicking off in one foul suck, he inhales the entire ice cream and all its contents, and he goes, "And I'm all out of ice cream."
And then the teacher is like, "Adam, what's the matter? Your grades are not doing so hot. Like, we're worried you're not going to be able to graduate second grade." And he's just like, "Oh,
Sorry.
I'm trying my best. It's
Sorry,
really hard."
Sorry, professor. I'm not gonna give you the whole my dog ate the homework spiel. I'm gonna give you. I've been sucking too many cocks. I've been saving the world.
Having sex with all these
Prof.
kids to get any homework done.
At Uvalde, you're saying.
Oh, Adam, come on, Jesus, sensitivity, please.
Al Pacino's
Happy Father's
outside.
Day, everybody.
Al Pacino's
Oh.
outside with his gun. He's just shooting at the students through the window.
Okay, speaking of kids and Al Pacino being the same height as them, there's that scene when he's sitting on the wall waiting for him to like walk through the park, and he hops off that wall. I went back and watched it 3 times and was just laughing out loud because he's so tiny. The wall is like 4 foot high, and he jumps off, and when he jumps off, it looks like it's 20 feet tall. and it's not graceful, and
Yeah.
he's not a cool guy. Al
I feel like
Pacino's not a
Ryan
cool
should be
guy.
getting a little heat for this anecdote, William.
About what? Al Pacino not being cool?
What kind of
I
a
think Al
strange
Pacino
random
is.
detail?
I was just thinking about it like Al Pacino looks like he's on coke in this movie. I wonder if he's high. Like
He
I
looks
wonder
like
if
he's on coke all the time.
he definitely like sobered up eventually, but
That's a
This is
good
like the
high
height.
energy is good for this performance, I think.
Yeah, I think he was more sedated in this one.
Just looks
I would have
like-
loved a heat version of this.
he just looks bad. He looks like he's smoking cigarettes. He looks like he's up all
He
night
looked like
drinking.
he didn't want to be there
partying.
either.
Yeah, he looks
He really
bad.
looks like he doesn't want to be there.
So
Yeah.
what's your rating,
Are
Adam?
you, are you okay, Adam? Adam seems like
You gotta
we've-
take another
we've drained
pill?
him.
Gotta go.
We've drained him.
What's your rating?
He's upset. He's mad about this episode.
No. I don't think anything is wrong with anything that's been said in this episode. I think it's all
Rating.
totally normal. I would say, I think this movie is, so we didn't really talk much about like the radicalness of those bar scenes.
I know those pan shots too are so fucking sick. And the
But like
extras.
that's in a mainstream movie, that's like pretty
radical.
radical.
Yada
stuff.
yada yada. What's your rating? Get
So,
away. Get
it's
out.
a pretty
And the
big, important
show's
movie.
over.
It
Show's
works really
over.
well as a movie.
5 stars. Ryan, what's your rating?
4.75.
Show's over. The end.
4.75.
Not how big your penis is.
three.
What's the rating of the movie, Adam?
3.5 for me. I didn't
If I
like the murders.
I would round up to 5 inches.
I didn't like
if that
watching
was
the murders.
4.75.
You would round up to 5 inches, but what is the rating for the film?
4.75.
Why would you say such an idiotic thing?
Well, I think I'm getting more.
What are you docking? What's the 0.25? What's this? Explain yourself.
I mean, maybe a 5.
Cool. Thanks. Way to go with the bit. Well, next week we got one more cool cop movie. I don't know what we're gonna do. What should we do?
Cool cops.
Bad Lieutenant,
Yeah.
Tango and Cash.
Die
Never seen it.
Hard. Something like that. That's a little too popular.
Go with the bit. What was the bit that you were just doing?
Yeah, what was that bit?
What was the bit I'm supposed to go with?
3.5 on the bit.
What, your little penis?
Oh, he gives them hit
Oh,
1
that.
star equals an inch.
So Adam's walking down the street. He's got an ice cream cone.
My dick is off the charts.
Fucking
Which way off the chart?
Harvey Keitel shows up.
My dick is off the charts. It is below the top 500.
In the red.
I'm in the red, baby.
Should we just
I
do
got a
Bad
little
Lieutenant?
dog dick.
Yeah, Bad Lieutenant's
Yeah,
probably
I
a
haven't
good
seen.
one.
I've only seen the Nick Cage one. Port of New Orleans.
It's only 90 minutes too.
Adam, show me how you suck a
Yes.
cock.
Pardon?
Show me how you suck a cock.
Pardon.
I mean, if I did it,
I'd
it'd be a
go-
totally normal thing to do, and like
I'd get
You
a
want to go
grapefruit.
downtown?
nothing wrong or funny about
I would
it.
get a grapefruit. There, you can have. There's some funny shit about people sucking cocks.
Ryan,
Have you seen the
show
grapefruit
me.
technique?
Yeah,
Okay.
You get a grapefruit, you cut a hole in it, and you just ow, 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 and you just go for it.
You guys ever got that?
Oh, I've had
Well,
to do
I
it
guess
to
William doesn't even know
myself.
about it.
I'm trying
Right.
to think about this.
Kind of
This is-
American Pie it.
I'm thinking of like, what the hell do you
Yeah, I
mean
never got it
grapefruit?
either.
Are you talking about like the comedian?
You
who
don't
puts
know
the
the-
microphone in her
You
mouth?
don't know the
one with
you
the
don't know the
purse?
grapefruit? No. The grapefruit technique. I'll send you a link. Otherwise, look it up. It's non-sexual,
Spread
but
the word.
it's a YouTube. It's a woman who's a sex expert teaching you how to give your man the ultimate head.
But why would she use a grapefruit? That's
Because it
something
makes
like-
it feel
gotta
like
watch
it
the
makes you
video.
feel like
It's
you're getting
called-
your dick sucked and you're fucking
No,
at the
Adam,
same time.
don't.
That's
spoil
what the
it.
point is. Just feels good.
Yeah. But
what are you
gotta
talking
watch
about?
the
You
video.
eat
Yeah,
a
it's like a
grapefruit?
it's like a
God,
it's
you
like
dummy.
a
No, you cut a hole in what you got to watch the video, you dingus.
it's like an incredible
Adam, shut up.
hand job.
Let Ryan talk.
Well, I'm explaining it. Ryan's
Shut your
just telling you.
face. Shut. I swear
You
to God,
fuck a
Adam,
grapefruit,
shut.
dude.
I'm sorry, audience. Adam had to talk.
I was the one providing information to the audience. Ryan was
Okay.
just being a tease.
So you suck a dick like a grapefruit.
He was being a point tease.
No.
just make the point, and get the point.
This is all
The point
happening
is you have
because
to watch
Adam,
the video, and Adam just spoils half of the shit.
I'm up on
Look,
points, guys.
this
Gotta
is what
say.
happened. I was making a bad lieutenant joke, and then Adam didn't even go with the bit. He was just like,
What
no,
was the joke?
I'm not going to show you how I suck a cock. I won't do that bit.
So
That's
I
a
should
line
have
from the
started
movie. That's a
doing it.
famous scene from
I
the
don't
movie.
remember. Jesus.
Yeah, that's on you, William.
Nobody likes those kind of things because they don't know either. Nobody's getting what you're saying.
Nobody out there knows what I'm
Except for
talking
New
about.
Beverly guys.
Nobody. And it's 34-second long video, William. The grapefruit technique.
All right, I'll
Trust
watch
me.
this. The show's over later,
Put
everyone.
it,
Pace.
play it.
Send it to your girlfriend.
You're sliding down against your heart. You haven't got one. Just closing your eyes so you can see. So you can see.